her completely. And 3 days later, this guy says, hey, he had demoed a song of mine, and, he sang at a local Opry, and he says, hey, he said, there's this girl, and she heard the song you wrote, and it's a song called Win Some, Lose Some, Lonesome. Mm-hmm. And he said, and she wants to write with you. And I said, oh, that's awesome.
So
he says,
I'm waiting on a call from God right now. I got to hang up.
And I kind of thought, well, maybe that's a sign, And he says, yeah. He says,
for sure.
He says, she's 12 years old.
Oh.
And I said, I just laughed. I laughed, okay? 12 years old. That is funny, okay? So I crawl out of bed. I sneak real quietly out of bed about 10:45 once everybody's asleep, get my guitar, write my little songs, and I'll just call the 12-year-old parents up and say, can you drive her over here to write a song? That's what I thought,
Is Alexi awake?
Okay? And God just humbled me like, anybody that knows LeAnn knows.
She was the hardest worker.
Oh, my gosh. That's the worst thing I could have ever thought about her. And as it would come to be, the next week, I went to see somebody else sing at a Opry show, and she was singing there. She came out to sing. I thought she was about 21, and I had never heard such a huge voice in my life. And I said, man, I've got to meet that girl at the intermission.
Yeah.
I got to go meet her and see if she'll write with me, or wants to do anything with my songs or whatever. I never heard anybody sing like that.
When you first met her, did you guys talk about how weird it was that your names were similar?
Yes, here's what happened. So I go to meet her at the intermission, and she gives me a business card with like 4 or 5 different numbers on it, and I'm like, and it said LeAnn Rimes Entertainment, Inc. And I said, wow. And then I give her my card, and she says, yeah, my friend told you about me. And I said, your friend told you about me? And she says, yeah, And I said, and then it dawned on me. I said, are you 12 years old? And she says, is that a problem? I mean, just like that. And I said, not when you sing like that, okay? Yeah. And I could tell she was so mature and present. And so I said, you know what's really wild? Our names are almost alike. Mm-hmm. I said, my middle name is Lee, and your first name is LeAnn, and my last name is Grimes, and your last name is Rimes. And she says, but when I said that about the first name, she said, no, it's not. When I said your first name is LeAnn, she said, no, it's not. And I said, yeah, and no, it's not. It turns out LeAnn's her middle name.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Classic.
And so, yeah.
And then, but that's such a 12-year-old thing to do. Yeah. Oh, your first name's LeAnn. Nuh-uh.
Yeah. No. I mean, she knew what she wanted.
Yeah.
I just want you to think
one of the greatest gifts I ever had in my life ever was God putting her in my path, because the way He did it, mm-hmm. and I wish I could take the feeling that's in my heart and have everybody be able to just like completely feel it 1,000,000%. Because the way He did it is, He took the most unlikely situation on earth and said, okay, you told me now I could do something with you because you asked me what to do, okay? Yeah. And I told her that night, I said, I'm going to do something I've never done in my life. I'm going to take 1 day a week off of my day job, and I will write with you, wherever you want to write. And we wrote, and within 7 months, I'm sitting in I think the 5th row at the Grammys, watching her accept Best New Artist of the Year, 7 months after that prayer.
Wow.
And my song was on the album that,
so
that she
14 years old, she's winning that Grammy, and you're sitting there.
And you're helping her write the other ones.
Yes, because she was almost 13 when I met her. Yeah. She was 12, but she was almost 13. And it's like, so it was like, so that at that point, I don't think she had turned 14 yet when she won the Grammy. I might be wrong on the timing there, but I mean, it was like, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's just unbelievable to me. You know what it was? I'm sorry. 7 months after that is when she won when she won all the CMAs.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, and she performed at the CMAs like 3 different songs that night, and I was invited out there because she needed her hair done. So we wrote another song while we were out there. It's crazy.
Yeah, you are uniquely talented.
Yeah.
Maybe lacking in just like makeup
Okay,
skills.
so you don't get invited out there because you're the person who wrote the songs on the album. You get invited out there to do the hair.
Songwriters, no. Well, I mean, and honestly,
That's awesome.
I was very close, and still I'm very close with her family and her.
Right.
It's like her family. She was so special, and they had issues with the way kids treated her at school.
Oh, no doubt.
She got stuck in a locker, locked in her locker, knives pulled on her when she was young because of jealous girls.
Is this in Garland? Because I
Yeah,
believe
that's
she's
in
from Garland, right?
That's
Yeah.
in Garland, and they took her out of school to homeschool her.
That's where my
And-
wife grew up, was in that area, the
Yeah.
hard streets of Garland.
And so, and so when I met her, she was living in a little bitty apartment, like a 2-bedroom apartment, but it's like her parents knew because I had 3 daughters.
Yeah, you were safe to be
They
around.
knew that they saw how I was with my daughters, and they knew
Yeah.
they could trust me.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
And it was a safe place for her because she could come over and nobody would be in her face, and
Yeah.
she could just be. And she didn't have siblings, so they
Right.
were almost like siblings to her.
That's too cool.
So
Did you ever call her at 10:45 at night?
No,
Okay.
no.
I could see that being very funny. That the
No,
dad
no.
is just,
No.
LeAnn, it's Ron.
No, she'd be waking up at 10:45 on that kind of life once they start
Yeah.
touring. You know,
Gotcha.
I did call one night at 1 in the morning because I just woke up with this horrible dream that something was bad wrong with her, and I never call anybody that late. And I called her mom. I said, because I knew they would still be packing from the show, and is LeAnn okay? Are y'all okay? And she passed out on stage tonight from
Oh, wow.
dehydration. And that happened several times that I had dreams, that were, and I'd never had that happen before. But the cool thing for me in this, I grew up dreaming about being something. I wanted to be something in the music business. First, I wanted to be an artist. Then I wanted to be the best songwriter in Nashville. And then, God puts this situation in front of me, and here's this child, so gifted, and just like a cracker in the goldfish pond in that business,
Mm-hmm.
And he just showed me what mattered, and it wasn't what I thought mattered.
Yeah.
And so that it was really a very unbelievable experience.
Yeah, and I think she still holds that, like, the record of the youngest ever to win a Grammy.
Youngest female artist, country female artist, yeah.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, she was 14 years old and 182 days. She accepted her Grammy.
Yep.
So that's incredible. So so obviously you know that she's incredibly talented.
Yes.
Your songs are on the album. You guys have written a lot of songs together. What is the feeling like when you watch the album, get created, and then it hits gold status, and then it hits platinum? Like, what is, as a songwriter, and you're watching, your
like
songs
watching
that you worked on?
Are you watching a reverse New York Times ball drop? You're
Yeah,
watching
like
it go
it's
higher.
like what in the world is going through your mind as you're
Right.
watching the trajectory of this
A
just
lot of-
continue to
and
to
don't
soar.
say yeah to that. That was a terrible example that I gave.
Well, a lot of
Trying to be
songwriters at that point with an artist like that, you'd be back just sitting back and waiting to see what happened. I was so blessed because she had a lot of events, needed her hair done for
Right.
those events, and her parents liked it. Her dad and I got along real good, and her mom too, and so they were excited. They were excited for me as well as that I had a song that they thought was going to really do something.
Yeah.
And so it was so cool because I got invited to Curb Studios when she cut it.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm in there with the guy that produced Andy Gibb, and he produced all these other artists, and Billy Dean, and all these other people, and just hanging out with them, watching the album go down. So I got to literally hear it, And she walked in there and nailed the song like the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're like, okay, you ready for the next one? He says, we don't need it. I mean, do it just in case I lose the first one, you
Right.
know? But yeah, to see it just go down like that and then hear it on the radio and you saw it being recorded,
Yeah.
you know, it was cool. It was an exciting time, you know?
Did you think that y'all were going to be as successful as you were with those first two albums?
Well, I'm not gonna say, y'all. I knew that she was gonna blow up. I had a dream, and they had not scheduled Blue to be her first song release.
Okay.
Her first song release was going to be a song on the album that didn't really go to number one, I don't believe, called "Don't Ever Lose the Light in Your Eyes." That was going to be her release, and I was on my way to write with her one day in Garland, and I had a dream the night before that they changed her first song release to Blue, and instantly, overnight, everybody knew who she was, and it scared me
Yeah.
because now at this point she's like one of my daughters. You know, I mean, obviously not my daughter, but I mean I thought of her the way I thought of my daughters. You know, a kid in the world here, and you know, and I got there that morning. I said, I need to talk to you. I said, you know, I had this dream, and it was kind of scary because I said, have you really thought about this whole fame thing? Because once you go in that door, you don't come out the same way you went in,
Right.
you know? And I said, because everybody knew who you were, and it was like you were pulled in a million directions all at once. And I said, is that something you would really want? And she said, you're you know, very kind to think it could happen that fast, you know? And I had told her that they changed, in my dream, they had changed her first song to Blue. And you're very kind to think it could happen that fast and all. She says, but yeah, I would still want to do it because I know I'm supposed to sing.